Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello, welcome to the Popternative podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of sports, TV, film, pop culture, everything really depending on the guests. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. This is one of our exclusive 2020 NHL Draft special interviews where we talk to players that will have the chance to get their name called and be one step closer to the National Hockey League. We are with a centerman with the Vancouver Giants in the WHL, Justin Sourdif. Justin, welcome to Popternative, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. We've been wanting to do this for a while, but I'm glad we're finally able to get it done.
Yeah, no, me too.
So it's October, and we're talking about the NHL Draft. So obviously, it's a very interesting landscape. How have you been kind of adapting to the landscape a little bit?
Just been taking it day by day because obviously, there's always new things happening, new things being said. When I was working out in the summer, everybody's like, the season's supposed to start in October. Then it was December, and then now it's looking at January. So I just kind of take it day by day.
But you can't really, you can't really control that, right? Like, you just have to roll the punches and just go with the flow.
Exactly. You just kind of have to keep doing your own thing and keep your head on straight because you never know when the season's going to start back up. Could be tomorrow or, could be February.
So I mentioned that you are indeed a centerman.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of pressure, I feel, with playing that position these days. A lot of people talk about goaltending, but teams really need centers. You're always looking for, a first line center. Do you thrive under the pressure of that position?
Yeah, 100%. I love playing center because I love playing in all three zones. That's how I feel like I can contribute to my team's success is, when I'm doing that.
Absolutely. And in terms of like the way you play, what can you kind of talk about the style of play that Justin Sourdif plays? And are there some players in the NHL that do you think you can be compared to in terms of how you play, Justin?
I feel like I play a hard skill game, and I make, the little plays. I make them right, throughout the game. And I think I just play, intense. So probably a couple players I could compare my game to would be Nazem Kadri and TJ Oshie.
Those are some good ones, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so those guys got skill, but they can also, power play, penalty kill, and they're tenacious 5-on-5. They're not afraid to be physical, and they've also got that skill element. So that's nice to see.
You were part of, I believe, the CHL Prospects game, the Top Prospects game.
Yeah.
And that was a game that that game just showed how deep this NHL draft is. Like, there were so many good players in that draft. What was that experience like for you?
It was pretty crazy, I guess, seeing some of those guys. Even when I was younger, I'd played against some of the kids from back east, but just seeing how everybody's kind of evolved into the players that they are today, it was pretty crazy to see the talent level that's going to be, in the 2020 NHL draft. Teams have, a huge talent pool to pick from. So I think that's going to be tough in deciding which players to take. And that game was, I guess, an eye-opener.
There's a lot of rankings that might have you, first round, second round, third round. At the end of the day, Justin Sourdif just wants to get drafted. Like, that's what it is. You know what I mean? How do you kind of block out everything else and just focus on that task?
You got to just kind of stay true to yourself. Believe in your ability, believe the way you can play, and try not to listen to the outside noise. Try to limit the hockey talk, I guess, amongst your peers and around your family. I believe that helps a lot. And I think if you're able to do that, then you should be good to go. I usually try and talk hockey when I'm at the rink or I'm actually playing the game. But other than that, I like to let my mind kind of go elsewhere, think and talk about different things. And I also like to be very humble because that's the person I am.
Absolutely. No, I think that's really, really important. They talk about a lot of elements and ingredients that can create the recipe of like a good hockey player, and a lot of it is also like the character and the character and the creativity of a player as well. Do you kind of find that um, something like character is something that is kind of making a difference in terms of whether players are getting drafted or something? Like there's a lot of guys you play with in the WHL that are very character driven as well in the room and everything. How important do you think that is?
It's probably one of the most important parts, actually, of getting drafted. Yeah, if you don't have that character, it doesn't matter. I guess even if you put up over 80 points in the league, teams aren't really going to look at you. So, uh, no, character's huge. It's absolutely huge. Because a team wants a leader. They want guys in the room that are going to buy in and that are going to, fill the room with joy and intensity and success. They don't want guys that'll bring the team down. So I
Absolutely.
would say I would say characters number one, work ethic number two, uh, and everything else kind of falls by the wayside of those two.
For
But
sure.
you obviously still got to be able to play the game.
Yeah, absolutely. But I've just seen, like, for example, you see in the last couple of NHL drafts, two players that come to mind where there are players that, like, for example, the two that come to mind are last year's draft, Moritz Seider getting drafted to Detroit Red Wings, and then, of course, Ty Dellandrea the year before going to the Dallas Stars. Both those players kind of ooze character and had amazing interviews in the combine, and they were basically chosen higher than people expected because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I was at the draft last year. I remember when Sider was picked. And the crowd kind of doing
But
their
at the end of the day,
gasp.
guys like you that are playing and stuff, I mean, it shouldn't be that kind of surprising because everyone kind of knows each other, even though you don't know each other directly. You know what I mean?
Exactly. They knew about Sider's skill level. He played at World Juniors. He showed what kind of leader he was there.
Hmm.
And he showed how good he was. And so I think when guys maybe are they're slated to go like, I don't know, 26 or something, and they end up going six like Saturday did. I think, yeah, that's a testament and shows the kind of character they have,
Absolutely.
um, to
You
be able to
did
jump that high.
well for sure. Though I wasn't surprised like that. I wasn't surprised like when they drafted him. Like, yeah, would it be a bit higher than what people expected? Absolutely. But he's a very good defenseman. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
trust me, like defenseman and centerman, I feel are two roles right now that like are very hard to like. They're important to fill in the National Hockey League.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely. You mentioned the World Juniors. That's a tournament that you might have the chance to play in one day. That's kind of like an opportunity for a lot of players. That's like a goal. Is it safe to say that's kind of like a goal for Justin Sourdif as well?
No, it most definitely is. Obviously, I'm hoping to make the team, sometime in the near future.
Hmm.
Whether, something happens, guys make pro, and then I'm able to get an opportunity this year or next year as a 19-year-old. Um, that would be awesome. Because you watch the World Juniors when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Uh, you see those moments and you can't even imagine or picture yourself there, and then when it actually comes true or it actually happens, you have no words to describe the feeling. Even when I went to Halenka, it was
Yeah.
just such an honor to represent Canada there.
Yeah. That tournament has come a long way as well. Like I love that tournament.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty fun. It really is. It's competitive.
Absolutely. No, it's really good there. Going back to like, well, with your experience in Team Canada and with your experience at top prospects games in terms of players getting drafted this year, who are some players that you didn't know about before top prospects or before Halinka that even not even for Halinka, just Canada, but like who are some players that you were like didn't know about? They were like, wow, these are like some pretty good players. Was there anyone that kind of impressed you when you played in those events?
Uh, yeah, no, there's a couple guys like I already knew how good Jacob Perreault was. thought he should have been on that Halinka team for sure. And he was obviously pretty good at the prospects game. There's another kid, I believe his name's Tyson Forrester.
Yeah, he had a
He was
very good prospects game.
Yeah, no, he's a really good player as well. Which obviously when I was coming up from U17s, U18s, I didn't know if he was a late 01 or if he was an 02, because I hadn't really like seen him before. But no, he's a really good player. That was kind of looked over, I guess, for those tournaments.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's definitely a big one there. Justin, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Why should a National Hockey League team draft Justin Sourdif?
I believe because of my work ethic and my character. I pride myself in being the best person I can be, which is being, kind to everyone, off the ice, and just, I guess, carrying myself with a lot of pride and confidence.
Absolutely. And where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
Twitter, and that's pretty much it, I guess. I don't really have Facebook. Instagram, I'm not on it too much, so I don't really check that too often. But yeah, I would say Twitter's probably the best place.
Perfect. Well, seriously, man, thank you so much, and all the best with the NHL Draft, man. It's going to be a special moment. I hope you enjoy it.
Thanks, I appreciate it, Petey.
No problem. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Justin Sourdif and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.